Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only Hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Hosting Cruz, and man, this is gonna be an interesting topic to touch on, ladies and gentlemen. As Subriel Matias, the current WBC Junior Welterweight World Champion, is in the middle of a scuffle here between Alberto Puello, the former WBC Junior Welterweight Champion of the world, and the WBC Mandatory Challenger, Dalton Smith. As both guys have right claims to the title fight, to the title shot against Subriel Matias. One has a contracted rematch in Alberto Puello, and the other is the mandatory for Matias' title because he's currently ranked #1 by the WBC. And this is the situation here with Subriel Matias and his WBC title. And the two fighters here, Alberto Puello and Dalton Smith. So you got on one side, one fighter demanding their rematch, as he should, because on the contract, it says, based on the contract, that both signed before they went in the ring, Alberto Puello has an obligated rematch to fight Subriel to try to regain his title back. And as you can see here, Alberto Puello basically protesting with a sign here, "I demand my rematch now." And he's all over social media demanding it. Give me my damn rematch. Dame mi jodió revancha. Ahora. Lo quiero. I deserve it. It's part of the contract that we signed and we agreed on. And then you get on one side, it seems to me that Dalton Smith is trying to stir something up because he's getting heated up here. As you guys can see, this is based on what Dalton Smith said, the WBC mandatory challenger for Subriel Matias. Everyone says he's the boogeyman. This and that. When he fought Paro, I said, don't be surprised Paro beats him. I just found weaknesses in his game and style, and obviously Paro exposed him a little bit. So he's got a point there. It is what it is. Paro got the job done. But I always say that Paro got the job done against I would say an 80% Subriel Matias. I don't care what no one says. I always stand on that. Subriel Matias did not show up in Manatee. The boogeyman, the beast that we all know and love, did not show up. The 80 punches per round was not there. The suffocating pressure, the relentless pressure was not as relentless as it normally is. Just ask Alberto Puello, who's a better fighter than Paro. Look at the Subriel that fought Alberto Puello and compare that Subriel Matias to the one that fought Paro. To the one that fought Puello is day and night. The pressure was extra. The punches was much more than what he threw against Paro. And Alberto Puello is a better fighter than Paro. He's a better skilled fighter and just all around. Two-time world champion at 140. Has beaten some good fighters in Gary Antoine Russell and Sandra Martin. And the fight with Subriel Matias is one of the most debatable fights in terms of decision because it was a close fight. I was there in Queens at Louis Armstrong Stadium. It looked like a close fight to me. So close that my confidence was going down in terms of, right into the decision, I had to take my headband off because I was not sure. It looked that close of a fight. But then when you rewatch it and you realize that Subriel Matias landed 101 body shots on Puello, the pressure was relentless. Matias never stopped coming. He never stopped throwing. Matias looked like he wanted to win the fight more. Yes, Puello had some good offense and moments and stuff like that, but he was holding a lot. Some headbutts went in there by Puello, and they say he held like 90 clinches overall, which is outrageous. Imagine if Puello didn't hold, Subriel would have destroy them even more and stop him. But the holding is what saved him. He held for dear life. So at the end of the day, it was a highly competitive fight between two world-class champions, fighters, warriors. And honestly, if you ask me, and I know many of you guys will agree with this, I would like to see a rematch with Puello, because Puello not only deserves it, but he's the bigger name than Dalton Smith, and he's the better fighter, in my opinion. And the rematch is more intriguing because it's going to be another tremendous fight. And this is the situation here. You got a mandatory challenger, and you got a fighter who is obligated for a rematch based on the contract. Both guys here are rightfully deserving of a title shot against Matias. This is the predicament here, because Turki Al-Sheikh stepped in and announced that Matias will be fighting Dalton Smith next. That's the mandatory, because he's his mandatory, which is understandable. But then you have Alberto Puello, who on the contract is rightfully deserving of a rematch. And usually in that situation with Puello, the rematch on the contract is supposed to be next. So in this situation, where do you go? Do you give the opportunity to Dalton Smith being the mandatory, or you give the opportunity to Alberto Puello the rematch? Because remember now, Alberto Puello decided to give Subriel Matias the opportunity at the WBC title. Subriel took it because he was on the sidelines waiting for Richardson Hitchens, because he was the IBF mandatory. Richardson Hitchens decided to go fight Cambosis, who didn't even deserve that title shot. So Subriel Matias, rightfully, he did the right thing. He decided, because if he decided to wait more and not take the Alberto Puello fight, he would have been more inactivity, and that's not good for Subriel. Subriel's 33, he needs to get going, and he decided to take the Alberto Puello fight, so to keep active. And not only to keep active, but to have the opportunity to win a belt he has never won, and an opportunity to knock off a top fighter at 140 in Alberto Puello. And he did. He became new champion. He defeated Alberto Puello in a tremendous fight. And now Puello, rightfully deserved based on the contract, like I said a million times already, he deserves a shot. And when it comes to Dalton Smith's situation, in boxing, mandatory rules dictate that champions must defend their titles against a specific top-ranked contender. The mandatory challenger is designated by their respective sanctioning body, which is the WBC. This ensures fairness and prevents champions from avoiding challenging fights against highly ranked opponents. The mandatory challenger is essentially the next in line for a title shot. So you got two fighters here that are rightfully deserving of the title shot with Matias and are next in line. Mandatory rules ensure that champions don't hold on to their titles indefinitely without facing the best available challengers. Well, you got two tremendous challengers here. You got Alberto Puello, the former champion, wanting a rematch, and you got Dalton Smith. Dalton Smith is a good fighter, undefeated, good power, can box, good fundamentals. They prevent champions from picking and choosing opponents and ensure that the most deserving contenders get their shot at the title. Both guys, like I said, deserve this title shot. You're the mandatory, you're number one in the WBC, you fought your ass off to get to the top, you're there. Turki Al-Sheikh said you're going to be fighting Subriel next. Alberto Puello, you signed a contract with Subriel Matias to get the fight going. You guys got the fight going, and in the contract, a rematch, an automatic rematch clause is in there. So you also deserve the rematch as well. So the thing is now, this is the shit. What's going to happen? Who's going to get the title shot? Is it going to be Dalton Smith, or is it going to be Alberto Puello? And the thing is, on paper, both guys deserve it. Both guys deserve it. And like I said, Alberto Puello didn't need to give Subriel the shot, but he did. He lost. Rematches in the contract. He deserved the shot. It's a tug of war here, ladies and gentlemen. It's crazy. Now, a couple videos popped up earlier this morning on social media with Subriel Matias and Richardson Hitchens. I mean, not Richardson Hitchens, but Dalton Smith. I'm going to share it with you guys in a second. Don't really have the video here. I got it on audio. I'm pretty sure you've seen it on social media, but I'm going to play it for you guys in a second. This was Subriel. Hold on one second, guys. This is it.
Gracias por hacer cumplir, ¿verdad? La palabra mía, por verte mi palabra. Dios es fiel. Sala, quite, no subestime nunca el poder de un guerrero. A mí no me hizo un entrenador, a mí me hicieron mis cojones y las ganas de echar hacia adelante. Porque yo estoy aquí por la necesidad. Lo sigo repitiendo, estoy por la necesidad, no para hacer historia. Puello, tú dices que me vas a noquear incluso hasta la revancha. Vamos a hacerlo más interesante. Juega la puta bolsa. Deja la lloradera, juega la bolsa. Y dile a Juan, boxing, que también jugamos algo, que cancelaron ahí ya yo con los guantes puestos. Vamos a jugarnos algo serio, de hombre a hombre, de gallero a gallero. Aquí nosotros solidificamos nuestra palabra, porque somos hombres de palabra. Y hacemos cumplir nuestra palabra. Hagan lo mismo de su lado.
So basically, Subriel says he's a fighter that he needs this. He's doing this to make a better living for his career, for his kids, his daughters, and he's a man of cojones, muchas bolas. He steps into the ring and he shows a lot of heart, a lot of balls. Matias doesn't give a shit. He goes in there, balls to the walls, and he doesn't care about history. All he cares about is going in there, beating you up, because he needs it. This is how he makes a living. He comes from the streets. He comes from one of the roughest areas in Puerto Rico. So, Matias is here not to be cute, not for Hall of Fame, legacy. He doesn't really care about none of that. He's just in there to fight, to beat you up, send you to the hospital, like all he wants to do to your Fimo, and get out of there, grab the money, and go. That's Subriel Matias, and I think based on my understanding, he said to Puello, let's put the purse up. Let's bet on the purse. Where he said basically as well that I'm a man of my word. That's what we are, men. We need to be a man of our words and do what we say. And then now, Dalton Smith put out a video. Got the audio here for you guys on Subriel Matias and what he thinks of Subriel Matias as a fighter.
He's a great champion, former IBF world champion also, and I think the second half of the fight, I think once I've figured his range, his pace of the fight, I'd be very confident to take him out in the second half. He's a great champion, former IBF world champion also, and I think the second half of the fight, I think once I've figured his range, his pace of the fight, I'd be very confident to take him out in the second half.
Take him out in the second half of the fight. Now, I don't know if that video is going to age well for Dalton Smith. Maybe it will, maybe it wouldn't. But I'm going to go it wouldn't, because I just don't see Dalton Smith beating the Subriel that was in there with Alberto Puello. That Subriel was ridiculous. That amount of pressure, that amount of punches, 101 body shots. Landed. Alberto Puello must have pissed blood. He has to have pissed blood. Now, I just can't see Dalton Smith surviving any of that. He's going to be holding on for dear life. As a matter of fact, he said he's going to take out Subriel in the second half. What I see is Subriel doing that instead of Dalton Smith. Subriel taking him out in the second half, because I just don't see Dalton Smith handling that pressure, handling that volume, 101 body shots. And Matias doesn't give a shit. Matias is going to be coming in, eating fire to give his. Matias on his A game is a mess to deal with. His punches, when he throws them, is wherever they land. He doesn't have a care in the world where he hits you, how hard he hits you. He's in there to beat you up. He's in there to beat you up, and if he has to put you on a stretcher, he will. And that's that. So this is the topic here, ladies and gentlemen, with Subriel Matias, the latest. I demand my rematch now. Alberto Puello protesting here, as he should. And then you got Mr. Dalton Smith saying he's going to take out Subriel Matias in the second half of the fight if they fight. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Con este calalú aquí, revolú, arroz con culo, whatever you want to call it. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host and crew. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It is always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing. And it was a pleasure to do this video. This is a very interesting topic here. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.